Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Ravens Call. Again, I'm your host, Tyler Cameron. If you haven't already or don't know what the podcast will consist of, I got a 1 minute intro video for you. Or you can just follow along week by week. This week, we are in kind of the Pro Bowl week, but not really going to be talking about the Pro Bowl that much. This will be available on Spotify, YouTube, as well as Apple Podcasts. You can find links to all of those in each of the streaming services, or you just need to look up the Ravens Call podcast on Instagram. On that note, hope everyone's having a great Wednesday and ready to listen to some exciting NFL and Baltimore Ravens news. Pro Bowl weekend. What do we have on the docket for Pro Bowl week? Well, normally it's a lot of people figuring out coaching changes, what's going to be happening coming up via free agency, the draft. The Senior Bowl was this week, which is where a lot of the prospects in college go out to show, how good they are, try to improve or their draft stock there. So pretty much for this video, I'm not really gonna be going over the Pro Bowl. It's a joke at this point. It's laughable. We play touch football and flag football. It's like, okay, I didn't know it was a PE class, my third grade PE class, so to speak. So we'll go over some interesting events that happened. A lot of big things happened for the Ravens as well as in the NFL. Also, a huge thing too is I'm gonna be going and you know, during the NFL portion, if there's not much to go over in the NFL portion, I'll be going over some stuff for Denver, the Denver Broncos as well. I know a lot of the people that watch this are Denver Bronco fans, so it'd be nice to get some more input on that as well. And they are my wife's team, so I'm going to represent them as best I can, as well as represent my own. So, all right, first up on the docket. All right, we got Myles Garrett. Now, for the people who don't know, Myles Garrett he won Defensive Player of the Year last year, and plays for the Cleveland Browns. He's defensive end, uh, really good rusher, really good edge rusher, and he requested a trade from the Browns. And good on him. Go out and try to win because the Browns are not going to be a winning team for a while. They shot themselves in the foot by trying to get Deshaun Watson, and it did not work out for them. So they're kind of screwed on money, and they kind of need to get Myles Garrett out of there. Now, he's a huge blockbuster kind of guy that can bolster some teams or even make a team even more set to win in the postseason. But let's get into it. So, this report is about some teams that are best fit for him. Let's look into that. They say that the Lions are one. That would be good, but the Lions just don't have the cap space. They maybe, if they want to use some picks, maybe they're going to have to give up a key piece of something to give to the Browns because the Browns are not going to give Myles Garrett up for cheap. That could be tough. Commanders, I guess it'd help. It's not really going to make too much of a difference. I'm just seeing where he's at the most valuable, and the Lions would be very valuable for him. Commanders, maybe a little bit, but not as much. Cardinals, that's not going to be a winning team. He wants to go and play in the playoffs. Same with the Bears. Packers could be good, but it's really tough for them there. Now, Myles Garrett on the Eagles could be a potential threat. I think that's a huge win for them if they get that. I don't think the Browns will give them to the Eagles, and then the Chargers. Now, the Chargers, I don't think that there's any way of that. The only reason they would do that is if they know Khalil Mack will not be back to him, but even then, we've seen this before with Chargers. They have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, and their defense is all right, but it can't get it done when they need to the most. So, and then the Falcons, the Falcons and the Patriots, which honestly, both those teams are not going to be playoff teams, so it doesn't matter at that point. So that was one of the biggest names that requested a trade or is being part of a trade. The other is Cooper Kupp, which I am so shocked about. I think, and yeah, I don't know if anyone follows basketball, but Luka Doncic was traded from the Mavs to the Lakers, and he was shocked, like he didn't even know it was happening. And they traded their best guy out of just no necessity. And that's the same thing with Cooper Cup, is they think that Cooper Cup may be getting too old. And the Rams are trading him. He's not asking for a trade. He wanted to retire a Ram. So to me, I feel bad for Cooper, but there are some places that I think that he can go to. There, I do see him being a good guy that could help some young guys, but also help some young quarterbacks. Uh, Obviously, I'm very biased. I'd love him on the Ravens. I'd love him on the Broncos. I think the Broncos are a better fit for him with how they play the game. I definitely think he could be a really vital point for them. With the Ravens, I just think he creates more of a threat. I already have Bateman. I already have Flowers. If I can get Cooper Cup with, we can use draft picks. We have 11. So, but yeah, very excited to see what goes on from there. I know that he has a lot of good football left. There's nothing that he can't do. And they're saying they're going to trade him immediately. So they either have something in the works with the team, or they're trying to get him off the books so that they can really dive in going forward with uh with free agency in the draft maybe. So we'll see on that. But that's pretty much it for, I guess, really NFL news, so to speak. Um we'll talk about another big NFL news story coming soon, but that's more for the Ravens section. We're going to talk more about the Broncos here, and this goes into Cooper Cup. Now, Cooper Cup, I think, is a great steal for Denver if they can get him. Um, they need wide receiver positions, veterans. They do not need rookies. I think he's in the perfect spot to be able to do that. Because worst case scenario, him being on the roster will help because it'll help the young guys really blossom. I mean, Sutton needs another guy. There's a couple rookies that could really do well from learning from him, like Mims. So I do think that him being on Denver is perfect, in my opinion. Now on to why I think it'd be a great fit. They need a slot guy. Mims can work the outsides. Vele's pretty tall if he starts getting a boost there. Sutton is really good. Bo Nix, it gives him another safety blanket. Like, even Bryce Young has Adam Thielen. And so yeah, I think that him missing games, which would suck. I do think that maybe if we can get him, for a steal, like, it has to make sure that the price is right. We do not want to overpay for someone a little bit past his prime. So really hoping to see what we do here. I'm gonna take this poll. So it says, should the Broncos trade for Cooper Cup? Yes, if the price is right. Hard no. Revisit if he's released. I'm gonna say yes, the price is right. Revisit if he gets released. Obviously, yes, but everyone would love that. I'm kind of shocked that a lot of Broncos are saying heck no. Um, Granted, too, there is another potential trade that I think the Broncos should do first before this, which we'll get to here in just a second. So I understand the hard no. For me, I see the price is right because that it just creates another weapon. Granted, it really does depend on money because Denver's in a position to where they're going to re-sign a lot of people, but they can add in value. They don't have to change their roster too much. They just have to add value and add some other key pieces. And to do that, you have to have the money. They have the money now. So if Cooper Cup's going to take too much of a chunk, then I understand the hard no. Or if he's released to maybe sign for a lesser deal on that. But, you know, generally think that That's a good thing. Now, Denver's the number 20 pick in the draft. Had a really good season, lost in the wild card round, but again, way better expectations than they had thought. So, the most commonly mocked person for the Broncos is a tight end on Michigan named Colston Loveland. I think I said that right. um, but he's a tight end, obviously, because the huge. I mean, Denver has like four spots, which is most can't say that. Four spots where if they can bolster their roster, they become playoff caliber team. And what I mean by that is they need a running back, they need linebackers, they need a tight end, and they do need another threat as a receiver. They're a very young team. I mean, their young guys played really well this last season, but there needs to be a young guy, but someone who's already a star that needs a new start, which I'm foreshadowing into our next segment here. I mean, for Denver, it really I see getting a tight end is a good spot. Um, Supposedly the tight end position, from what I've heard and what I've seen, there's been a lot of tight ends that are very ready for the NFL. Some are calling it the best tight end class, but you never know. You got to pick the right one. And so I think that getting Loveland at 20 would be good. The Penn State tight end, Tyler Warren, is really good, but I would rather go with Loveland. I think he's the better fit. He fits the mold better. And that saves them a position to have to pay for. I'd say maybe the only person that I would see at tight end, maybe you trade for Njoku, because the Browns are looking to lose as much cap as they can. And Njoku is definitely one of those pieces. So I'm really hoping that they maybe make some interest of a trade, because Njoku would be huge. He's a huge guy. He's a deep threat, and he's a red zone target. If you can't have Sutton, you can have Njoku go one-on-one. So I definitely think that that could be a possibility. But also, too, you can do both. You can do both. Njoku's value is not that high. You can get him for relatively cheap, and you can still sign Loveland to where you have a duo of tight ends. You have one that's still kind of there, but he's going to probably fall off in the next year or two. And Loveland that can learn from him, be better, and also get his reps in as well. So very excited to see what Denver does. Denver is a very up and coming and exciting team to watch. But I definitely think that Loveland is the guy for Denver. There. Now on to the next one, which I've been foreshadowing for a while, is a potential Broncos trade. I think that this is a great trade, and that is Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson being a Bronco. For me, I think Garrett Wilson needs a new start. He needs a fresh quarterback, and they could be a duo for years to come because Garrett Wilson's very young. So is Bo Nix. They're really good together to where it's to the point to where they can really start something, because Garrett Wilson is the one or two guy. He ends up in a perfect position with Sutton. Then you can use Mims however you want in the slot. You got a bunch of guys that can do well. I think trading for a wide receiver is the best thing. And then maybe in the second or third round get Tez Johnson, who's from Oregon, who he's a good buddy of Bo Nix that could be better. I know that they just got Troy Franklin, but Troy Franklin did not do as well last season with a bunch of drops. So maybe need time to reconstructure that. So yeah, see. So a lot of people are saying Tez Johnson. Someone's trying to acquire running back Alvin Kamara, which would be good, but I don't know if that's going to react to that as well. So a lot of people are saying that actually Garrett Wilson apparently posted on the poll that was on Instagram. He also follows Bo Nix. I mean, these are people that are trying to, kind of insinuate some things. Honestly, how I see it too is, Zach Wilson's there. Zach Wilson knows Garrett Wilson pretty well. That could help a little bit. But Garrett Wilson would be a perfect fit for Denver. He's a good number two, could be a number one guy. Definitely a reliable receiver for the quarterback because he makes some ridiculous catches too. So I would love to see Garrett Wilson in Denver, in my opinion. So, I mean, it's just been popular. I don't. So this is what someone said. So that Denver would trade their first round and fifth round pick for Garrett Wilson. I don't think they have to give up a first round pick for Garrett Wilson. I'm not saying that he's not great. He hasn't had the stats to prove that he is. He's not a Pro Bowler. He did win Rookie of the Year, but at the same time, his value plummeted last year because of Rodgers. So I really think that you can get by with maybe pushing a fourth and a third you could do. So I really don't see. I really hope that Denver's smart and gets Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson needs a new start. Jets are not it. Bo Nix is kind of that future kind of guy that can help him because he's a passer. He wants to pass the ball. And that's why, at running back, you cannot get a tank. You need somebody who can do 3 down back. McLaughlin's kind of there, but you need another guy, and it cannot be a rookie. Just cannot be a rookie. Now, on to our next segment, which is going to be talking about the Baltimore Ravens. Now, before we talk about the Baltimore Ravens, I think that there's a big elephant in the room when we talk about the Ravens, which goes to show that, not everyone's what they seem. And that is Justin Tucker. Our kicker, he was accused of, assault and groping kind of scenario with massage people. And for me, I wanted a Justin Tucker jersey. I thought, he's the greatest kicker of all time. Now with this looming over his head, he can't be the greatest. He diminished his career by this happening. And I'm pretty sure, there's 10 people that have come out. At least one of them is true. And that's all you need. Now, for me, how I see it is if he is found guilty or he pays somebody, we need him to get off our team. We need to release him. Because that is something that we can't have on this team. We are not the Browns. We don't reward this kind of behavior. Okay? If it's true, which I'm not saying it's true or not until, facts come to light, of, a lot of people will say here and there, but let's get this to court. Let's solve this the right way. I want to believe Tucker. Of course I do. He's a Raven. But I also understand the value that, dude, you hurt somebody. You did this to somebody. I can't see you any differently. And, I'm not saying I'm defending Tucker or anything, and I don't. But I'm going to wait until all facts are said when actions are done. If you pay them or you are found guilty, you should not be in the NFL. You should be in jail. You have a wife and kids at home. You're supposed to be this guy that everyone looks up to from a kicker's perspective, and now pretty much one of the greatest kickers of all time is now not going to be anywhere near that because of who he was outside of the thing. So, good job on ruining your career by being this. I feel sorry for the people that have had to go through this trauma, whether it be the company itself, whether it be the people itself. It's a disgusting situation. And I really hope that Justin Tucker really sees this as a wake-up call and takes the correct actions. And what I mean by that is, if you know you're guilty, don't bullshit these people. Be honest and open about it and freaking take it under the chin because you did it. If you did it, own it. If you didn't do it, then fight for it, but we'll see. The court will settle it. Because, yeah, of course I would love Justin Tucker to come back as our kicker, but I can't have this kind of feeling. I hate Deshaun Watson. And now I have to look at you, Justin Tucker, and you did the exact same thing he did. You're no better than him. And that's the sad part. So, shape up your act, and we'll definitely have to just see what goes on from there. But yeah, I hope that Ravens are looking for kickers. I think that that's something we need to look into, and then we'll see what goes on from a court perspective on that. Because once the NFL gets involved and investigation and stuff comes to light, then we'll go from there. But if he is found guilty, or if he pays those women in an arbitration suit, that means he was guilty. And you need to release him. We are not the Browns. Don't put that shit on us. Everyone still gives us shit about Ray Lewis, which, yeah, he didn't do shit. So, okay. But now onto the team you know and love, besides that incident this week, the Baltimore Ravens. All right, so we got stars, studs, and duds from the 2024 season. Sorry that this is so done less way. The Kia car event is making this shorter than it needs to be, but let's go over it. All right, so Ravens are done. Let's look at some studs and duds from this season so far. Obviously, a star, a stud being Lamar Jackson, probably going to win his third MVP. Passed Michael Vick in rushing yards, had his best season as passing yards, touchdowns, QBR rating, and completions, and almost had 1,000 yards rushing. So another amazing thing from him. Derrick Henry, second most impressive free agent signing. Yeah, exactly. Him and Saquon Barkley really put running backs back on the map. So I love that for them. Very excited to see what goes on next year. I mean, we have a huge thing too is we re-signed Todd Monken, our offense coordinator. So we're going to go into our third season with the same coordinator. Lamar Jackson's never had that. So we're going to be even more deadly. We're going to understand how to use Derrick Henry even more. This will be his second season. And, you know, Bateman's finally come back into the fold. So another stud right here is Justice Hill. Amazing guy. I think that he has a lot of potential as just a guy that we can pass the ball to and use a lot. I mean, he was very clutch in a lot of situations. So very excited to see what we do there with him. A dad we had was Keon Mitchell. He was coming back from injury, so he's a little bit off, but it's like we got Derrick Henry. We have Justice Hill. There wasn't much room for him to be used yet, but he will be used. Don't you worry. He will be used. A star. Yeah. Zay Flowers. And to the people that want to discredit Lamar Jackson because now he has players on his team. He won two MVPs and had remarkable seasons when he didn't have those receivers. Okay? You had receivers and you threw them away. You threw away Gabe Davis. You threw away Stephon Diggs. Shakir is still one. So don't come here and start crying that you don't have any help. You had help and you and you let them go. We never got this. We had to draft this. We got OBJ last year. We drafted Zay Flowers, and it has done well. But we have not signed any receivers that have been impactful. We drafted Bateman. We drafted Flowers. And we drafted Andrews. We drafted Likely. So I don't really want to hear, oh, Lamar Jackson has more weapons now. All of ours are based on drafts that we've done. So quit your bullshit. You can say what you want, but when you look at what Lamar did, not many other people have even done that, including the guys that were marksmen, being Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Rodgers, Breeze. Like he had his top tier season as they did, you know. And I'm pretty sure if you want the MVP, fine. I'm pretty sure Lamar Jackson would have given you the MVP trophy if you would have let us win against the Bills. You know, we'll take your win and we'll go play Kansas City, and you can take the MVP. I'm pretty sure everyone would have taken that shot for Baltimore because I know we would have won. But Zay Flowers, first Raven to be nominated for the Pro Bowl as a wide receiver. No Raven's ever done that. So quit your complaining. We've never had a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Bateman next. I mean, I don't really have to talk much about Zay Flowers. Y'all already know he's a stud. Now, Bateman. I talked about it at the start of the season. I said he's going to have a breakout year. And Lord, did he. He was huge for us. I'm hoping he can continue. He didn't have any injuries this season, which is amazing. Now he just really needs to ascend even more on that. Dud, Nelson Aguilar, yep, pretty much. Just we need a third guy that's really going to be around. Not it. Studs or Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Having them together is beautiful. I think if we can keep them both, it'd be really nice because we'll just have a dual threat. Worst case scenario, we'd have to trade Mark Andrews because Isaiah Likely is the future. Studs, offensive line, couldn't say it better myself. Linderbaum, really good. Ronnie Stanley, hoping he stays with our team. He was really good. Rosengarten, our rookie at right tackle, was amazing as well. Just very happy with the line. Falele is doing a lot better, so he was doing good. Our left guard, not so much. He was just kind of there. So, but really good on that. So looking forward to next season there. Hopefully we keep Stanley, and then we're kind of cruising for a bruising. Now, stud. Nate Wiggins is a huge win. I was a little hesitant, not because I didn't like Nate Wiggins. I just didn't like the position because we had decent corners. Thankfully, we did because Brandon Stevens is well, I can't really say what he is on this podcast, but if you watch the Ravens defense, he is by far the worst. He looks like he should be playing in middle school football. He got screwed. And then if you didn't know Nate Wiggins was a rookie and you watched Stevens, you'd say Stevens was the rookie. So Nate Wiggins is a stud. He's going to be huge for us going forward if we can keep him and Humphreys together and then get that third corner that really solidifies it so that Humphreys can play the slot. Oh, they're going by studs. Yeah, stud. Rosengart, another rookie. Chef's kiss. Started playing better at the start of the season, took over the spot, and has just played insurmountably better. So, really did well against Watt. He had 0 stats in the playoff game. Did good against Myles Garrett. So, yeah, Rosengarten, excited for the future with you, bud. Keep it up. Dud, Marcus Williams. That no shit. Sorry, but no shit. I mean, he was 160th out of 170 backs in the NFL at PFF grade. So, yeah, can't wait to get his ass off. He's probably our biggest signing bust. I don't know how you just become so terrible at your job. So, but glad he's off our team. Stud Roquan Smith. Do we need to say anything better? Really good. Hopefully, we get another middle linebacker that kind of like is around him that can be of use. We were switching out a lot this season. 21 here, get off the screen. You don't even deserve to wear that number. Dud. Isaac. I mean, he was a rookie, third round pick. Like, yeah, he didn't really play that much. So yeah, it kind of sucked, but maybe a bounce back year for him. Star, Kyle Hamilton. Need I say more? Best safety in the game. Stud, Marlon Humphreys, top 5 corner. Don't really need to say much about him. And a BK. Now, a lot of people are like, wow, like he didn't have as big an impact as he did. It's because he made a name for himself. They double teamed him constantly. But when it came down to the run, he was one-on-one. And if he's a one-on-one, we're taking advantage. So very proud of him. He's not a stud, he's a star. So happy he's on our team. Stud Kyle Van Noy. Yeah. Chef's kiss. Kyle Van Noy is huge for us. 12 and a half sacks. Doing it at his age too. He's amazing. So very excited to see where it goes from here with him. Oh, that's it? The end of the article? You don't want to say a dud? You don't want to say Brandon Stevens isn't a dud? I don't know why. This guy barely played, and he still played better than Brandon Stevens. Jesus. All right, on to the next article. That really ticks me off. All right, let's look at Ravens report card. So we're going to go over the rookie class. See how well they did this season versus the ratings here. So 30th pick, Nate Wiggins, A. I would say so. At 30th pick and we get an A. That was just amazing. Then we get the second round pick and we're like, you know what? We're just going to do the same thing. A. I agree. A plus. A plus. Yeah, no grade. He didn't even really play. Walker, C. He can be maybe better, but we'll see on that. TJ Champa didn't even freaking play. Well, I mean, I guess he played special teams. He didn't play at all. Didn't play. Didn't even know he was on our team. Yeah, he didn't ever play. So that's really it. But our first 2 picks were huge picks for us. They're going to set us up nicely for the future if they can continue on their progression as well as how they've constantly been improving. Because start of the season, not so much, and then just through the weeks, they've just progressively gotten so much better. So happy about that. Now we're going to talk about some targets that stood out for the 25 Senior Bowl that could be potential good for us. Jake Beck, he won MVP for the Senior Bowl. He's 6'1", 214. So definitely could be someone we can get as a steal. I don't know where he's drafted at. I'd have to check that. But yeah. So I think that he's definitely a wide receiver we could go at and be successful on, but you never know. So, but 6'1" is huge for us. Getting another tall guy would be huge. Because then it gets him on the outside. It gets Bateman on the outside. It gets Zay Flowers being able to motion and be in the slot and just kill people. So Savon Jones, LSU defensive tackle, 6'5", 289. He's pretty good. We'll have to see how that goes with their Junior Tafuna. Definitely another 2 sacks and recovered fumble, so another good defensive line. Miami's wide receiver. Like, I like to see heights because, like, for us, we need taller defenders. But we'll have to see how they do going forward. And now my screen's just like, no, you can't go any farther. The Ravens only get 4. Jeez Louise. All right, well, we're going to refresh the screen. Sorry, guys. Definitely thought that that was going to work a little better. Okay, well, now my computer just wants to not be able to do that. Okay, now we're back, I think. Okay. So another wideout they said was from Arkansas. Smooth route runner, 6'2", 217. Arkansas. Isaac Tasala. O-line, Arizona. I can't even say his last name. Played some offense tackle as well. Pretty good. It's tough drafting O-line, but O-line would be good. Dan Jackson from Georgia. I don't know. I don't think we need any more DBs. I don't think we need a tight end either. D tackle. Landon Jackson could be good. Kyle Williams from Washington State, 5'10". Nope. Sorry, I need tall guys. So that's pretty much it for the Ravens sort of scenario. We need to draft a kicker. I think drafting a kicker is smart. We can train them as well to be good. Just needs to get some power and some accuracy there. But going forward, I really think that we need to be looking towards taking Tucker out, not having him be a part of this team. So that's just my opinion on that. All right, well, that is it for this week's episode. I hope you guys had a lot of fun listening. I know that I'm changing some formats with some NFL stuff, some Broncos stuff I'm adding in because a lot of the people that watch are Broncos fans that like to know what's going on. Kind of like to know my opinion a little bit too on Broncos related stuff, just because that's just kind of how I am. Uh, I have invested a good amount of time into the Denver Broncos just because my wife's team, but I also like to let her know what I see because, sports and the NFL has been my life for so long. And I know the Ravens inside now, the Broncos, and doing even better on. So it expands my mind to two teams as well. But very excited to continue on. Very excited to see Super Bowl is this weekend. Really don't care who wins. The funniest part is a lot of people have been. If anyone's ever seen The Dark Knight Rises, I believe it's Dark Knight Rises. Forget how the names are called, but the one with Bane when he detonates a bomb and explodes the football field. Yeah, I think that a lot of people have been putting that as their meme of they'd rather have that happen than watch that game, which is rightfully so, rightfully understandable. No one wants to see the Chiefs anymore. The Eagles, they're good. They're a great team. They just don't have a good quarterback. And I don't want to hear about how, well, Jalen Hurts is now better than, no. Would you say that Eli Manning is better than Josh Allen or that? No. The only reason you say that is because he has Super Bowl rings. It's pretty easy to get to the Super Bowl in the NFC, especially this year of all years. So, you know, if the Eagles had played in the AFC, I don't think that they would have made it out of the AFC. They probably would have either lost first round or not been a part of the playoffs at all. Our teams are beefy. If the Bills go to the Super Bowl. If the Ravens go to the NFC, win the Super Bowl. If the freaking Broncos, who are a rookie team, went to the NFC, they would have been in the Super Bowl. That's how weak the NFC is. Just saying. Okay? So don't compare Jalen Hurts to anyone here because there is nothing that Jalen Hurts does better than Lamar Jackson besides the tush push. That's it. Nothing. And if you say deep ball, I'd highly like to remember the accuracy, the amount of times that we throw, the amount of times, because I want you to ever see Jalen Hurts throw the ball left side when he's bootleg left and him throwing the ball deep. He can't do it. He's so inaccurate on that. Now, Lamar Jackson does it all the time. So I don't really want to hear any speculation. Jalen Hurts is not even a top 15 quarterback. And if anyone wants to put in the comments section, will Tyler show me proof that there are 15 better quarterbacks? I can do that effortlessly. Effortlessly. Mahomes isn't even top 10 this year. But see, he knows how to win games when they matter. That's just it. So, hoping that that comes to an end. But again, I want to thank you guys all for listening. Podcast can be live at 12 every week. Make sure to post up on my Instagram page. Podcast will be live and be on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube. Feel free to like or subscribe, whatever platform you prefer. Comment if you want any questions, you want me to bring up anything in these podcasts. Also, all the music and sound is provided by my brother-in-law, Justin. So, Justin, again, thank you for that. Well, Ravens Nation, thanks for joining me on this episode. Until next time, stay fierce, stay loyal, and keep rooting for that purple and black. I'll see you next time on The Ravens Call.